Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another edition of Lisa Renee TV. If you have not yet subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Make sure to do so today before you leave. Make sure to thumbs up the video if you do like what you see, and to share on all your social media networks that you happen to be on at this time. Hello, and welcome back. How are you guys? So I hope everyone is doing well. I hope everybody is good during this trying time that we're in. Yeah, I hope everybody's well. Me, I'm good. I got my COVID shot. I got both of them. So I just completed my second round of the COVID shot on May 1st. So yeah, I'm good. I'm doing well so far. I got like a sore arm, and I had a headache the other day, but other than that, I survived. Yes, I made it to the other side. All right. So let's hop right on in. Okay, so this topic came to me not too long ago. Just something that kind of crossed my mind, so I just want to hop in and discuss. All right, so sex before marriage, yay or nay? So it's kind of a controversial topic. If you see me looking to the right hand side, I'm just checking out my notes. Okay, so depending on how you grew up, like if you came from a solid Christian background, there were certain principles that were taught to you, and you were expected to walk a certain path. Sex for most households seemingly a taboo topic, but it depends, right? So for some of you, sex was an open topic in your house, and then for others, it was kind of like taboo, wasn't ever talked about. Other people, it was kind of in the middle. For me, I would say it was kind of in the middle. Like, I mean, I remember me and my mom having like conversations about it. But it seemed like she never really wanted to go all the way with the sex conversations. Like, I mean, I'm not saying that you expect to have a full-blown conversation with your parents about like the act of sex and things like that. Like, that's kind of weird anyway. So like, you're not really gonna have that conversation, you know, but I just don't remember it really ever going, you know, because we had sex education when I was in school. Like, did you guys have sex education too when you were in school, where you learned about puberty and, you know, what's going to happen to your body and periods and, you know, all that kind of stuff? So yeah, we had that when I was in school. But as far as me and my mom talking about it, I think we had some discussions, but, you know, I just remember her telling me that sex was for married people, and, you know, that was the gist of that. So I think, yeah, and some of you may have had a similar experience, you know, especially if you grew up in a Christian or any other religious, you know, household. So, yeah, so. So as Christians, we're advised to save ourselves till marriage. However, marriage may not come in a timely fashion as we had hoped or expected it to. So what happens when things aren't as expected? Yeah, so I mean, that's a lot to think about too. You know, that's a lot of pressure on a person when you say, okay, you all should wait till marriage before you have sex. And then because we have a lot of people who are single and they're like up in their 30s or 40s, and they haven't had, you know, any sexual experiences yet, and it's a lot, you know, to handle. So it's like they're struggling because they're like, you know, should I just go ahead and forego this whole thing? Should I try to get out there? You know, what should I do? Because you're looking at the clock and you're like, I'm 40 something, I'm 45, you know, I'm 35, or, you know, how old they are, you know, I haven't done anything, you know, time is getting away from me. You know, how do I continue to, you know, trust and keep my faith up, you know? and time is constantly ticking up. So let's see here. So yeah. So there's a striking dichotomy between those who choose to wait till marriage, and some waited. Some do wait, and even they marry when they're older. Some wait and are happy that they did, and others are regretful. And I've heard both sides. So some people managed to wait and they had no trouble. They were excited, they were happy, had good experiences. Some others have waited and the sex may have been, you know, disappointing to the extent of the partner, they felt maybe they were not compatible sexually. And that was problematic, you know, definitely. Like I actually have a friend, and currently him and his wife are having some issues sexually. So it's like he wants to have sex with her, but she's kind of funny about sex for some reason. Like, she'll only have sex with him occasionally. So their sex life is kind of sporadic. It only happens occasionally. She doesn't want to do certain things, and if he tries to initiate something, she acts like disgusted, and it's really hurtful for him. He was telling me about it, and you know, so you get that kind of situation. For me, I believe that you need to have a conversation, because sexual compatibility is important. And so whether or not you're choosing to be physical, you may choose not to be physical so soon. Maybe you are choosing to wait. That's fine. But you still need to have that conversation. Like, a conversation needs to be had while you're recording so that the person understands what you need, and you understand what they need. So, let me get a swig of water. My throat is dry. But yeah. But yeah, a conversation needs to be had, you know, at some point in time. Right, you have to talk to each other about it. And for some people, even that conversation is, you know, it makes them uneasy or makes them uncomfortable. But I'm like, hey, look, you're going to have to talk about it, even if you're not going to do it at all. You know, you don't have to be physical, you know, in order to just be verbal and say, look, I need to let you know, this is who I am, and it's, you know, sexually, or this is what I expect, you know, sexually. So, and then if you're a virgin, maybe you don't really know what you expect sexually. That's another thing. You know, maybe you don't know, you know, a whole lot about yourself. But I think it's important as a couple to create an environment where both of you are going to be comfortable enough to talk to each other about your feelings, and just create a space where there is a level of vulnerability, you know, and where you guys can be open about it. Yeah. And some people argue that waiting for marriage, the waiting for marriage agenda can be harder for women, placing more pressure on them. Now, the idea that women and women alone should be pure, quote unquote pure, for their husbands puts all the responsibility on them. This pressure makes women more likely to feel ashamed or worse, damaged if they fail to remain chaste. The concept makes it seem like this so-called purity is worth more than sexual autonomy, according to HuffPost.com. It's a good article that I read. Now, the arguments to wait until marriage put sex so high on a pedestal that love and exploration, what sex is truly about, are lost to fear and uncertainty. It makes any kind of sex before marriage experience, good or bad or ugly, look like a failure, when in reality, those experiences can teach us a lot about ourselves. So, I would agree with that. I think that because of the fact that sometimes in religious households, because of the fact they don't really want to talk about, they don't want to have the sex talk, you know, or you're taught a very rigid, you know, one-liner thing of like, hey, look, just, you know, wait till marriage and that's it. Sometimes that brings about a lot of problems for you later on. There's a lot of shame that goes along with it. So what if you don't decide to wait? You know, what if you say, you know what, I'm not going to wait. You know, I'm going to go ahead and have this experience. You're not going to know how to handle it as well as somebody who has been given a space where they can discuss their feelings with their parents or, you know, guardians or, with their parents or their guardians. You're not going to know how to talk about your feelings to your mate because, you know, you never had that space to discuss with your parents, your guardians, your religious leaders. That's what I left out, religious leaders. You know, if you all have a church like that where they talk about that at church, you know. So, but quite frankly, I think it's more important that, like, less at church and more so at home. I think the parents really need to be in control of that conversation. It's okay if they want to talk about it at church, but I think they need to be talking about it. Your parents need to be talking about it with you, but they have to, you know, make it safe for you to come to them, you know, so that you don't feel shame, because you got to learn every option. It can't be so cookie cutter. It can't just be so rigid and be like, oh, just wait till marriage. I'm like, no, you need every option because you got to know how to protect yourself too. You know, like something can happen to you. Like you're going to be green as a banana when you get out here, you know. You're not going to know how to handle yourself, you know. You're not going to have a clue as to what to do and, you know, safer sex practices and things like that you're going to have to know. How to be prepared for sex emotionally. I mean, there's a lot of emotions that go along with it as well, and you're going to have to be prepared for all of that. But if there's no conversation piece there and you're not allowed to express, you know, who you are, express your feelings, you know, I don't know if you all saw this show, Married at First Sight. And, I'm trying to think of her name. Oh, gosh, it's on the tip of my tongue. Isis, I think her name was. But yeah, she got married on there, and she got divorced too. Her husband chose to leave her, sadly. Yeah, so she was a virgin. She was like 27, a virgin. But she was very immature sexually. Like you can tell she's very immature. But she didn't want to do the basic things, you know, like it was just basic. They had like them activities that they would have them do, you know, like, I don't know if it was like kissing or holding hands, but it was like just real basic little things, you know, even like with conversation, she was kind of skittish and, you know, you know, but that comes from the type of background that she came from, you know, just not having that room, that space to express herself and, you know, just never having those proper conversations, you know. So it has to be parents, you got to open up, you know, with your child, because it can be life-threatening, you know, when you don't open up with them. You know, when it comes to sex, you know, and it's not like you got to go into it about the act of it, you know, but it's just really letting them know, hey, look, if you do this, this might happen. This is how you protect yourself, X, Y, and Z. You know, how are you feeling? What's going on with you? You know, you have to really have an open environment with them. You know, transparency has to be there. It just really does. Yeah, so Okay. Yeah, I lost my place for a minute. Most people feel that by waiting, they're avoiding temptation altogether. But even if you choose to not physically have sex, conversations, like I was saying, conversations still need to be had about likes, dislikes, desires, and expectations. If the idea of talking about sex tempts you, because maybe it does, have the conversations over the phone or in public places. Sex is not the only part of a relationship, but it is important. You have to make sure your partner is suitable, therefore talking is key. And I mentioned this earlier too. You know, you need to have a suitable partner, you know, because sex is, it's not the only part of a relationship, but it's a very important part. So sexual compatibility matters. And when you first start having sex with someone, when you first get married, like they have to learn you, you have to learn them. So of course the sex, even if it's not like great at first, like that's okay. You know, you guys are going to learn each other, but it helps when you're open to learning each other. So if you're shut down and shut off from it, you know, that's not going to work so well, you know, but you have to go in with an open mind, open heart, to really hearing the other person and their desires and things of that nature. And so in Hebrews 13:4, we see that God upholds and honors marriage and the bed of marriage. Now, this tells us that it's better if we decide to be sexual with a marriage partner. It is looked at as the ideal situation. However, there is free will that is given to us as well. So if you so choose to be sexual outside of marriage, it should be with a trusted partner where you discuss things first. So yeah, like I was mentioning earlier about, you know, especially people who've gotten older and they're kind of wondering, you know, okay, should I be getting sexual with anyone? I know I'm getting up in age. You know, I know I've been waiting quite a while. It's going to be, when it comes down to it, at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you, because this also goes back to this, like, here's another point. Marriage isn't for everybody. So some people may not want to marry, but they want to be in companionship with somebody, you know, and they want to have sex, because we all are sexual beings. So, you know, you got to figure out how do we play with that one, you know? You know, if we're all sexual beings, you got somebody who don't want to be married, but they want companionship, you know, what are they gonna do, you know? So you are given that free will to, you know, make the decision that is best for you. For me, you know, sometimes you get shot at free will. I always recommend, you know, being prayerful about certain decisions, especially about big decisions or difficult decisions. I would recommend definitely being prayerful about what is the best next step to take. Especially if you in that type of situation where you like, I don't really want marriage, but I want companionship and I want to be sexual with somebody. What do I do? Or I've been waiting a while and I'm thinking about having sex. What do I do? You know. All right. And lastly, ladies, gents, don't allow yourselves to be defined by whether or not you're engaging in sex or not. Especially as a woman, society puts enough pressure on women, don't they though? Especially when it comes to sex. It seems women who are virgins are seen as a cut above those who are not. However, a woman who is a virgin may feel as if she doesn't quite know herself sexually because she has turned that part of herself off. That's not wise either. Spend some time getting to know yourself in general and sexually. Now, you can begin by writing down traits of an ideal mate. That's the first step. Things that you want to try and any feelings that you have. So, yeah, I would say start there. Just write down, okay, this is what I'm looking for in my mate. This is what I'm praying for. And then this is who I am, or these are things that I think I want to explore, you know, at some point. And then you just kind of go from there. But I definitely want you guys to comment. I definitely want to hear your comments, your experiences, your thoughts about this topic. Like, what do you feel about sex before marriage? Do you feel like it's okay? It's not okay? What does a person do, especially when they're getting up in age, you know, and they still have not explored that part of themselves yet? You know, should they go ahead and just do it, just forego everything and just be like, whatever, I'm just gonna do it, you know, or should they be prayerful about it? Like, what do you guys suggest? What do you guys think? Anyway, I hope this helps. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will leave any information that you need in the more info box below. Yes, my book is still on sale on Amazon.com, Long Way to Love. And I will drop that information for you in the info box below. And you guys take care. Stay safe. Love you guys, and I'll see you later. Bye.